Okay, now. Okay.
No,
She
we're
did it.
not.
She did it. I want to touch it. Yeah. You got it? Whoops.
I'm sorry.
She's still sitting
You are doing that voice now.
It's really
There's something so wonderful about a child learning how to walk. It's just heartwarming, really. But anyway, you're here for a reason, and don't lose sight of that reason. I'm going to show you a real simple, fun thing to do in the spirit of learning like a child. That's the whole spirit of this thing. And, I've talked about thought, feelings, and how thoughts and feelings work together, and and how that rules your life, and how feelings can get jammed up and thoughts can be dominant. And every thought you have has an effect on you, and feelings give the power to thoughts. So this is about polarity. And in polarity, everything is polarity. Polarity, everything is dual. Light and dark, the yin and yang. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Opposites are identical, but they have a different nature and in different degrees. And all extremes meet. It's like a big swirl. All extremes meet. And all paradoxes can be resolved and reconciled. So that's kind of the inner game that we have. We have limits that we're placed on ourselves, and the limits are our beliefs. And a belief is nothing more than a polarity. It's like there's an idea of right and wrong, good and bad, whatever the polarity may be. But when it forms one step further into a conception, like I am good or bad, I am right or wrong, or the world is, evil, or the world is good, those are beliefs, and those have much more power over you. But they're polarities. The world is what it is. Everything flows from one thing to another. Happy, sad. You can be happy and sad and excited and crushed all in one day. But the issue is, how do we know where we are? The only limits you have are the limits that you believe in. And one of the beliefs you have to have, it would be really great to have, is that every belief is a polarity, and that whatever polarity you're in, there's an opposite polarity. If you're stuck into feeling sad, or there's a happy side. There's always a happy side. And polarity is about being unstuck. Life is about flowing, the flow of life, the flow of your consciousness, the flow of your world, and the flow of love. And to be stuck like, oh, it can only be this way, or there's only this that can happen. That's where you end up going around and around in circles. So you're here for a reason. Don't lose sight of the reason. That the idea is to heal and evolve your emotional self, your emotional being, and become basically unstuck. And we talked about things like who we are, and I'm saying that you are a polyphrenic, multidimensional being, unstuck in time, with a good element of infinity. Infinite. So everything's got this infinite swirling possibility, that we come from an infinite universe and an infinite understanding of reality. But we don't see ourselves as infinite. We confine ourselves. We shape ourselves to little boxes. So every thought is formed by, there's an emotion side to it, and then there's the constrictions of that emotion. So if you say I'm having today's a bad day, there's limits that you put on the day, and those are the thoughts, and then the actual feeling of a bad day is your essence, is your will. So there's thought and feeling, and so it forms a cube, so that one expression is a cube. It's contained on 6 sides. So there's the living essence contained by a cube. And that cube can be in your heart, it can be in your head, it can be in your body. You know, like if you're say, I'm tired today, well, your body's going to feel tired, or what a drag it is. Your body's going to feel that, and then you're going to have a mental construct to hold you in that situation. And unless something changes, and either the outside can change you, like somebody can flirt with you, and all of a sudden, all of a sudden you got a lot more energy, and things aren't so bad. Or the inside can change. You know, you can eat and drink your coffee, and all of a sudden the polarities change. Life's good. It's a good day. But every thought is a box, is a cube that contains your essence.
A thought form within the body of thought informs us in meaning. However, no one word or thought can ever capture the entirety of our infinite nature, and so, like words, we become trapped within them as their meaning, supporting their existence in our struggle to break free from the limitations of our identities. All of our conflicts arise from either being wrongfully identified or protecting ourselves within such identities.
And where we get stuck is when these boxes become so rigid that your essence can't get out of it. It controls you, it contains you, it constrains, conforms, defines you. Thoughts can define essence. So you put your essence into, unbeknownst to you, you put your essence into a box. And the box is always a polarity. Good, bad, right and wrong, light and dark, man, woman, happy, sad, grief and sorrow. All these things are constraints on an essence that's meant to flow and expand and change and transform. I mean, everything transforms. That's what I Ching is all about. It's the 64 tetrahedrograms or whatever they are, that life's about change and knowing where you are. So to play the inner game of polarity, which is a big part of life, you need a certain amount of situational awareness. If you're going to play, when you play tennis or you play ping pong, you learn, you put the ball back and forth, you learn how that works, and that's kind of fun. And then you kind of see how the ball goes back and forth across the net, and and how you can react to it. Or if you play chess, when you first start off playing chess, you're terrible at it. You have to learn what each move is, and how each piece on the board can move in its way. A horse moves one way, the castle moves the other way, queen in the other way. And you learn this. And usually you learn and you fail really bad. And that's what we're going to do here with Polarity Flip Flops. You're going to learn how to play the game of polarity, and where it's played, and how it's played, what it feels like. And you're going to fail at it. Just like children fail at learning how to walk, or learning how to tie the shoes, or learn how to potty. They fail at all that stuff. And but it's kind of fun, especially if if you understand how important or how significant it is to have situational awareness when you're living your life, and polarities come up, opposites come up, situations come up, and to know, is it happening in my head? Is it happening in my heart? Is it happening in my will? Is this polarity some kind of a permanent thing, or is it, or should I believe it or not believe it? And should it control my life? Should it control my destiny? And so that's like situational awareness. It's like where the pieces are on the chessboard, or how the ball's coming to you in the ping pong, or playing a video game. Once you learn the rules of the video game, how to win the video game, it's situational awareness. And we don't have that normally because we live a normal, natural life. So good things happen, bad things happen, struggle, and then relax with calm and peace, and anxiety, and all these different kind of flows of energy flow through us. But we don't have situational awareness of it. And where we get jammed up, it's really good to have played in a fun way, with how words and ideas and thoughts and beliefs affect us, you know? So that allows you to be unstuck in that particular polarity, and you'd be able to move into another polarity. So every polarity is connected. They spin around like swirling vortexes, and every box that you contain your essence in, your soul, living in a thought form, living in a box, living in a cube, your soul can always escape. And this is really good stuff to know. So that's what this exercise is going to be about. It's called Polarity Flip Flops. So be gentle with yourself. Be gentle because you're meeting parts of yourself that have been at war for a long time. And have fun. The goal is to discover how these things work, how it works in your mind, and how it projects out to the world, to your worldview, and how it affects different parts of your body. So some stuff will be for your physical body will feel it, your emotional body will feel it, you'll feel some things in your heart, and you'll feel some things in your mind, and kind of have like a situational awareness of those divisions. So this is like an exercise for that. But this is in no way some kind of deep, profound thing. This is a warm-up exercise, like the warm-up you'd have before you do yoga or before you go for a run. You stretch. This is just a warm-up exercise. And like I said, you're going to fail at it because this is not something you're supposed to win at. It's something you learn at. You fall down, you keep going, and you get whatever happens, and you just have fun with it. There's no real goal here. Exactly, but keep in mind, after you've done this exercise a few times, you're going to do it over a few days. Not going to just do it once. This once isn't going to do it. You didn't learn how to even poop in a potty once. It took you a while to do that. Or tie your shoe. It took a long time. Maybe it's a couple of weeks to learn how to tie your shoe good. And I mean, some people can say, "Oh, I tied my shoe this first time." Well, okay, but you want to learn about this polarity, flip-flops, and how that is well enough so that you can teach it. Because one of the things that I'm trying to do here is show you how to become a teacher. So in order to teach it, you have to learn it really well. So several days, once a week for weeks, or every day when you come home, do it. And when you do your first set of polarities, write down more polarities. So what's the first thing to do? The first thing to do is you get a piece of paper, a notepad, or a notebook, or a journal, and at the top of the page you write Polarity Flip Flops. Then under that you put spirit, heart, will, and body. Those are the three areas that you're going to try to feel from, or how that polarity affects you. And then under that, you write me, mine, my, life, world, and God. Those are the spheres that it affects you. So it could be your thought is the body part, the being part, and it could be life, or the world, or God. So those are the spheres of influence, because everything has, this. It's good, like I'm good or bad, or my life is good or bad, or the world is good or bad, or God is good and bad. And don't get hung up on the God thing, because God is also an idea that contains your essence. So it's in the same category as your vision, your view of God, your view of the world, your view of life, and your view of yourself. These are all things that contain your essence, contain your soul, contain your will, and they're subject to polarity. And it's not the real ground of being God that has no person. This is the everyday concept of God. Okay, so you got that. Polarity flip-flops, spirit, heart, will, and body. I, my, mine, the personal. Then life, the world, and God. Those are the four spheres. And then underneath that, start writing down your polarities. Any polarity you can think of. And they don't have to be deep or profound. This is just a fun exercise to play with. Good, bad, light, dark, happy, sad, true, false, hot, cold, mean, nice, thoughts, feelings, man, woman. Try to write down at least 100, 200, 300, 50. This, because you're dealing with, we're not normally think, everybody knows about polarity, we don't really think about polarity. So it might be a struggle. You might struggle, I only get 10 or 20. It doesn't matter, because you're going to do the exercise. Doesn't matter how many you have, because you can this all you're doing is walking around the block. And you can always come back and write down more. And that's kind of the goal. So you should have a really good broad range of polarities, and some real experiences of it. Now I'm going to go outside and show you how it's done, because you have if you're balanced, like one polarity will be on your right foot and one polarity will be on your left foot. It's as simple as that. And the flip-flops, these are flip-flops. That's just a word. It doesn't matter if you're wearing flip-flops or shoes or barefoot or socks, or it doesn't matter what. I used to call it polarity socks, but I like polarity flip-flops better. The idea is that the left and the right, and if you put more pressure on one side, like bad, I'm bad, the world is bad, life is bad, and less pressure on the other, you walk around in a circle. And if you do it the other side, it's good, you walk around in a circle. The only way to walk straight is to have them both working, the flow back and forth, good and bad, light and dark, happy and sad. And this is the metaphor. It's a metaphor for what you do in your life. If the world is, if you feel dark and the life is dark and the world is dark and your God is dark, then you circle around and circle around, circle around. That becomes the reality for you. So the thought contains and constrains and defines your reality. But the thought's a polarity. You're also light and dark. And if you go all light and good and happy all the time, well, you're going to have a big debt into the dark and sad and bad side. So your good and light and happy becomes fake, because you have this other thing going on here, the dark door, the dark night of the soul, the deep old wounds that you've never even touched before, you're afraid of, because you're happy and you're light and good all the time. Well, that's fake. And it shows out in your life, because bad things are going to happen to you, or you're going to get divorced because they're whatever, all this kind of stuff. It doesn't matter whether you're controlled by the good or controlled by the bad. If you don't have both polarities and they both can't be fluid and move through you, then you're going to walk around in circles and be imbalanced. So don't forget, the goal at the end is to be able to teach this to a friend. if you can just teach it to one person, and you know that you know what this is, and you will have gone deep enough into it to really know what this warm-up exercise is all about. Okay, got my flip-flops on. Right, left. I think the first polarity I'm going to go into is wet and dry. So my right foot is wet and my left foot's going to be dry. So wet, dry, wet, dry. And this is in my body because I can feel the water on my feet. So that's my body, and this is me right now, so that's my realm of influence. So it's body and me. Now, if I put all my weight on my wet, which is this foot right here, wet, 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 or dry, 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 then I go around in circles, wet, dry, wet, dry. I go straight. I can move to my goal, which is kind of down this street or down the other way. So let me do that with good and bad. This is good. This is bad. Good. Oops. Yeah. Good, bad, good, bad. Now in this one, I'm feeling it kind of in my head. So that would be my spirit. And good, bad, good, bad. And I'm kind of feeling it in the world, like the world is good, the world is bad. Good, bad, good, bad. So, there goes a car. Good, bad, good, bad. So, now I'm going to go good, bad. So I'm going to go into good. My bad foot is kind of not moving. So good, 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 bad, then bad, bad, bad. And you can see, I can feel how if I'm only focused on the bad, I go around in a circle. If I'm only focused on the good, I go around in a circle. And this does not progress me. Good and bad, good and bad, good and bad. So, what about light and dark? Light, dark, light, dark. And where do I feel like light and dark? Well, let me think. I feel life. Life is light, life is dark. Light, dark. And where do I feel? I actually kind of feel it in my heart. It's kind of like my heart's view of the world is kind of light and dark. So, light, dark, light, dark. But if I get stuck in one, or just only one, light, light, light. Or if I get stuck in the other, dark, dark, dark. So, it's a real easy exercise. It's kind of fun. And this stuff, and the whole point of it is just to feel how thoughts and feelings are working together. But it's really stupid. So, stupid and smart. This is stupid. This is smart. Stupid, smart. Now that's definitely my mind talking because my mind thinks it knows everything. Stupid, smart. And this is, I'm taking it personally, me, mine. So, me, mine, it's not the world really, or God or anything like that. Right, but right now it's me, I'm stupid. Or this is stupid. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And that makes me turn around. This is the stupidest thing I've ever done. That makes me turn around and just go around in circles. But there's another side, which is, this is smart. This is smart. This is the smartest thing I've ever done. And that's how you do it. So, This exercise is the stupidest thing you've ever done and the smartest thing you've ever done. See how it works? And you just do this over and over and over again until you really have a good handle on how thoughts and feelings influence you in your spirit, heart, will, and body, and from your inner self to your life view, to your world view, and to your God view. This is where I live. Kind of a ghetto apartment. In order to climb up these stairs, I better be balanced and have both of them going in the right direction. Up, 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 oops. Down, down, down. I do this every day, up and down. Wow. That was fun. Yay, success. Always give yourself success. That's a polarity. Especially when you're doing some stupid task or some fun thing or something you never tried before. Any little thing that you do that you succeed at, yay, give yourself success. Now, this is like incredibly, stupidly easy. And if you're thinking, if you've done this a couple of times, you know, and you think, oh, this is just too easy. Or you stop doing it. You need to, one thing you can do is to do it again, only this time add in past, present, future, and infinity. So while you're doing the polarity and you're figuring out which realm and which body you're in, you can also be walking through the past, because we live in the past, we live in the present, and there's a projection into the future, and there's an aspect of infinity. So that's another layer of difficulty. So you have like all these things going on. And here's the thing, if you're watching this video and you thought you wanted to try it and then somehow you didn't, well, get your piece of paper and write down what's holding you back, why you didn't do it, and you know, what's your reason for it, because that's like definitely, if this is something you feel like you need to do in your life, then you don't do it. That's like a self-sabotage. So form that into a polarity and then walk it. You know, feel it, feel what it is, feel it, and then give yourself the opposite, like why you should do it, and you know why it would be a good thing for you. So that, and celebrate your success. And like I said, this is a warm up for other things. When you know, you have to feel your emotions in order to heal them, and while you're feeling your emotions, it's a little bit like this walking business. You're going to be seeped into your emotional body. But you have to have a part of your mind that's clear. What time zone it's in your past, how old you were, what was going on. You need to be able to know that, and then what was the exact messages that you got when you were traumatized, or when you were hurt, when you were a kid, or when you were constricted, or when you're shamed into being less than you are. So all these things that you're learning, these abilities, this little awareness, the situational awareness, and connecting, they're going to apply really powerfully for when you do your emotional healing work and when you do your judgment and denial work. If you can't, so this is like climbing a mountain. You know, you have to practice on a small mountain before you can climb a big mountain. It's just a good policy to do that. So, I did a terrible job, but I feel so good at it. You're going to have to figure out how to do it yourself. I'm sure you can do it better than I can. But congratulations for giving it a shot.